5:30. I'm calling the February 29th meeting of the Ayer Board of Health to order. Public input. Do we have any public input? No, hearing none. First thing up is tobacco hearing, Pauline's Variety. So everyone involved, please come on up to the table and join us.
Okay, thanks. Yeah.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Are you just...
Yeah.
So thank you both for coming. So what exactly happened here? This was a second violation, is that correct?
Yes.
I want to make sure I have all the facts correct.
Okay, so I'm Joan Hamlet, the Director of Tobacco Control Alliance, and we are also the Ayer Tobacco Control Agent. And we'll just, we have the violation order. I think the board has a copy. Did you bring your copy?
No, you didn't.
Okay, but I can give them my copy. So what we have here is a local violation. It is a second violation, cigar sales. It was a pricing because we have in the Ayer Board of Health Reg cigar pricing requirements. Anything packaged 2 or more has to be $5.
Okay.
Anything packaged single cigars have to be $2.50 or more, and this is a retail density strategy that we use, trying to price it out so kids can't pool their lunch money and buy products and things like that. So
Gotcha.
this pricing requirement has been in the Ayer Board of Health regs since 2014, and then in 2018 we did a regulation update in your reg, and we hand-delivered the reg and gave an education visit to each retailer.
Yep.
And you can see Pauline's, there's a signature there where somebody received that packet and that education. So we're just establishing that the education was there when
Yeah.
the regs were passed. And then this store, they did have the education. We also have sign-off sheets for the last 2 years, so you can see, and I think Happy, he signs for them, so they're 10 to 14 pages, and in this, we can see that they sign. So every year, we just want to establish for the board that we go out of our way to provide the education, answer any questions in person. They sign that they receive the packet. We answer all their questions. We can come in and do individual for educations for all their staff if there's any issue. It's really important for us to establish that public health is about education and not being punitive.
Right.
But then we have fines.
Exactly.
This is a second violation for this location. We went in and you can see in the pictures that it was priced under the limit. It was $2.50 for a 2-pack, which should have been $5.
Okay.
We have had multiple inspections in this store, and everything was priced properly. We do an annual pricing survey in addition at another time of the year that the state gives us, and his products have always in the state pricing survey been priced appropriately. He had a violation in 2023. It was a flavored product and a blunt wrap. At that time, all of his products were priced properly. So, this was, we were kind of surprised to see a pricing. So we're, in a little bit of discussion in that moment with my inspector, and then a later conversation with Happy after. It looked like it was a data entry issue into the system. Other products in the store were priced properly, but there was just these 2-packs that were in the store that were not. And there was several of them, not just one package, but like several types. But what we looked at is, in the state database, I went back to 2006. There's not any local violations with us. There's no state violations. I started inspecting with you guys, I want to say it was Ayer. I picked up Ayer in 2001, maybe?
Wow.
Yeah, so, Ayer has been with me for a long time. There's no DOR violations. There's no, in all the FDA inspections, there's no violations. There's no state violations. For the integrity of the regulation and what it says that we have to do, I'm going to ask for a responsible finding for a payment of $200. But back in, I have minutes that you guys continued a 14-day suspension without a finding for 36 months, where the person had to, it was a different retailer, he had
Yeah.
to serve 1 day.
Yeah.
But then if you have another violation in 36 months,
Yeah.
you have to serve the remaining days.
Yes,
This
right,
was a
right.
much more egregious offense, what was going on in that situation. So I'd like to recommend, based on good history and everything else, that it's a responsible finding, $200 fine, serving 1 day, continuing the remaining 6. That's our recommendation. It is, one of the things is pricing has been on the books for well over 10 years in Ayer. We don't know how the mistake happened, and maybe he can speak to it.
Yeah, what happened?
I've been there in Poland since 24 years. I own that business. And one point I used to own golf gas station
Oh, okay,
and
okay.
also air
Yep.
convenience. I never had underage violation ticket or anything.
Yeah.
Even I used to have at Poland school bus stop.
Oh, yeah.
And I know that
Right, yeah.
all people live around area.
Yeah.
And even underage smoke, then I let them parents know also your kids is smoking out there. I mean, I never sold
Yeah.
to anybody.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
this 2 violation I got. 1 violation was for like a certain item you cannot sell in a store, like
Yep.
cigar.
Yeah.
But that my sales rep, that Philip Morris and all that
Yep.
people, he sent it to me and he said it's legal to sell, but it's my mistake. I mean, you're in the town
Yeah.
of it's different. So I fight with him too. I said I got ticket for $1,000 I paid. He didn't give me money, but it was, he said
Yeah.
it's legal. He said I don't know town rules and regulations.
Yeah.
That was that,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
this second one was like I supposed to sell 250 by mistake computer, recolon it and it got.
Yeah.
It was 2 pack, but usually 1 pack is 250, but by mistake it didn't.
Yeah, the 2-pack is supposed to be 5 plus
Not-
tax.
Yeah,
And it was
yeah.
priced
It's
at-
not attention
priced
to
like it was a
sell it
single-
like that.
Okay, so
Oh.
there's no price tag on the
No.
item, right? It's just
But-
what's in the computer?
Yeah, it's all store. I had a history for so many years. I never had a problem.
Yeah.
I'm good with everybody.
Madam Chairperson,
Yes.
But I can.
I'm comfortable with the recommendation of the Tobacco Control Commission. I think that that's reasonable that he pay the fine and he served the 1 day.
Yeah, it does sound like it was an honest error. Yeah.
If you're amenable, I'll make that as a motion.
I second.
Okay. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, is that
You were
okay?
good.
Okay.
So what I have to do now? I have to send check.
So we reset the permit suspension day. Yeah, you pay it out to the town of Ayer,
Okay.
and you deliver it here to the Board of Health, and they bring it to the
I'm on the
clerk.
3rd floor, you'll find it.
Okay.
And
So I'll
then,
bring check here.
Yep.
Or do I mail it or
You bring it in. It's
bring it
pretty
in?
easy.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then, for a 1 day, we could do it March 1st or March 8th.
Oh, we have to do 1 day?
You do have to do
You have to do 1 day.
Then I have to pull everything out?
No, you can just cover
Cover
it.
it?
Just cover it.
Okay.
And we'll call you the day before to remind you. But tomorrow, you don't have to do it tomorrow. We could do it March 8th.
Okay, March 8th.
March
I
8th,
can
we'll do it. So
prepare
now you have a
for-
week to prepare for it.
Yeah, that's.
So we'll send you a hearing outcome notice that tells you what we just decided, and then I'll call you on Thursday to remind you, and an inspector will come out and check in the morning, and you'll be all set.
On 8th.
Yep,
Just
the
in
8th,
terms
just
of
do
a
it.
clarification, that if there's another violation, then within the 36-month time frame, that change, it resets it back to the entire violation, right?
So he has to serve the remaining 6 days, and then whatever your third
Right.
violation says. So
Yeah.
in the minutes, it would say, continue without a finding pending no other violation, to be served
Yeah.
pending no other violations within the
That's what I
36-month
thought.
period. Yep.
Yeah.
Correct.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks, Joan.
This is the quickest I've ever been.
I know.
Steve, I haven't seen you in so long, and I do like it that
I
way,
know,
but it's the quickest I've ever been.
This seems to make sense.
I know, it does, yeah. It really sounds like it was an honest mistake.
I mean, before I go, I just wanted to say, as inspectors, we've set it up this way from the get-go. I do this now for 46 communities, and if we see the violation, we put it in the database, the state database. It's satellite tracked. The picture is timestamped. It gives the coordinates of where we are when we take the picture and when we open up the inspection, and we report back out in the database what this outcome is. And lots of times retailers will call us, but we have no discretion to give a break, even if it makes sense or we understand or somebody makes a mistake. And we always take in consideration equity or fairness of, like, there's kind of a precedent set. We're going to give you everybody gets a one-time continue without
It
a
just seems reasonable.
Yeah,
because we really want to be helpful. And I'm thinking to myself, there's no other, if this was a reoccurring problem at this store, we kind of looked at it and went, this is why, devil in the details, you really have to pay attention.
Yeah, and I know he has been around. He was at the Gulf Station before I recognized him, so I think he's had a good
and we always
history.
establish and sign for everything so we can prove that there's education. I mean, it's a solid violation. And it's a slippery slope when we try to decipher if this is a good excuse or that's a good excuse. So
That's right.
Kind of staying consistent with it's present in the store, it's a lesson to learn, and let's move forward.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm sorry? No, I just have those for you. I can take them back, or you guys can have them on file. Now you have the signature sheets.
Yep.
for everybody.
Yeah.
We send them one at a time, but
Just throw it in the
I will throw
we
it
can
in
put
the
it in recycle.
throw it in the file for them.
Yep, we can have one for the file, and then we can put it in recycle, but I try to bring everybody a copy, so.
Thank you.
It's great. Thank you for all the support you give us. We
Oh, God,
really
thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you. And it's nice that I don't have to see you that much. So
Yeah,
that's a
it
good thing,
is.
isn't
So
it?
far, so good.
Real good.
Back in the day, I was a frequent flyer, but it's nice that I don't have to see you that much. So thank you so much. And Sam has been super helpful, so.
Great.
That's been
Yeah,
blessing.
she's awesome.
We had some, COVID lost communication there for a while. and she's been
Yeah,
excellent,
yeah.
so.
We're getting back to normal.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, harm reduction program for old business. Would you like to give us an update?
I would love to give you an update. All right, so I did just a quick review. Sam probably shared it with you guys, but I sent her an email just kind of to level set where we were at. Community Health Connections is our region's primary federally qualified community health center. They actually provide services for 12 of the 16 towns in the Neshoba district, which is significant. So we have been establishing partnership with them kind of across the board, in terms of just leveling the playing field of health equity. And they have a really robust substance use disorder and outpatient treatment program going already. They already have a van, and they were you just kind of came up in conversation, and I threw it out there off the cuff. Would you guys be interested in providing these services in the town of Ayer? And as a matter of fact, they're very interested. Since then, we've had either 2 or 3 more planning meetings, and I have another one tomorrow morning. As of the one on February 7th, I pulled Luke Kirkland, the library director, into the conversation with us. He didn't really have any additional questions for Vittles or CHC. So at this point, we're just kind of looking to get a green light from you guys for Luke to speak with his board of trustees about the possibility of utilizing the library parking lot on the day that the library is closed for a few hours, at least to start. Community Health Connections would very understandably want to start without the billable clinical stuff, because that's a bigger lift for them, and then based on utilization, start pulling some of that stuff in if it makes sense to do so.
Okay.
Now, with where we are at in the state's fiscal year, I guess, they would be looking to start this beginning of July, which is fiscal year 25 to 26. Now, that said, I know it's not you guys' jurisdiction per se. They said if you were interested in utilizing any of your opioid remediation funding to start sooner, that they would be happy to work with you on that. That's the state saying that. CHC is down for kind of whatever.
Okay.
But so I would be happy to have any conversations that need to be had if that was a route you were interested in pursuing. Otherwise, I think July 1st is totally reasonable for us to plan for, to kind of, get stuff together. We did talk about an MOU and an insurance binder and all
Yeah.
that, understanding between all involved parties. And we also, let me see. So a new contract, this was more of a between Biddles and CHC, I suppose, but just for putting it out there, they would need to do a new contract starting July of 2026 with the state. So this one contract that they would do this year would carry them to July 2026, and then,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And that would be even if we managed to start before July?
that I'm unclear about.
Okay.
That I'm unclear about, yes. I don't know if that was just like, assuming you start in July.
Yeah.
Right?
I was kind of thinking about the settlement funds too for this, and I'm not really sure. How do you know anything about? Do you know anything about how do we tie into that? Or
I spoke to Carly. My goodness, at least a month ago, maybe more at this point. Time's a little bit weird. But,
yeah, gotcha.
she said, "Oh yeah, we've been talking about that. I'll check in with Rob. I'll get back to you. I know she's super busy. I haven't heard back from her, so I do need to follow up."
Okay.
But so it's interesting because the remediation funds kind of came through the Attorney General's office, right? And generally speaking, they were designated through towns and municipalities, mayor's office, the town manager, administrator, the select board, what have you. In most cases. But DPH has been very instrumental in the process, almost at the same level as the AG. The AG dealing with the legal stuff, and DPH kind of building out what kinds of things this funding could be used for. So DPH feels strongly, and I'm inclined to agree, that there's boards of health, like you guys have the knowledge and the public health background to really kind of determine what sorts of things would be good for your community, and conduits to get input from your community. I think that's the biggest thing that I've been hearing is the first step is you want to hear from the people in your community. And it's not just, the people who happen to be convenient but trying, and it's difficult to reach the people who may benefit the most from the kinds of things that you would be doing with this funding. Right?
I think the rushing to get something before July 1st doesn't really.
No, it's probably not.
The other thing is the library really needs time.
Right.
To look at this and understand it entirely.
Just to get all this paperwork together,
Absolutely.
I'm sure would take.
I just think starting at the beginning of the fiscal year makes sense.
I think so too.
Right. I think that's cleaner, if you will.
Exactly.
And by then, if we have any other questions or ideas that have to do with, what other priorities, like you're not going to have everything starting up at once, but what are the priorities that we think Ayer would put forth in the, at the facility itself?
Well, CHC was saying they begin with a van staffed by community health workers, case managers, and recovery coaches, providing harm reduction supplies and services, and then would perhaps add billable services and providers if warranted by the level of utilization in the ramp-up period, if you will.
Chairman, if sometime between now and July 1st, they could bring the van out. See it.
I would love to see it. I really would. And do you have, does each community sort of do their own flyers or, promotional material for this? Or do you have sort of template things? How do communities get the word out?
So we talked to Biddles about that. They have some resources that they can provide to us. CHC also has a great marketing manager. I'm in communications. So I feel like this has been a really nice little planning team. Like everybody's very motivated. They've been very organized. I've been super impressed. So I don't have an answer on that just yet, but I know we have all the right players to get something together, and that has been woven throughout the conversation. Like, how do we get the word out? How do we market this to the community, right? One question that Luke had that was a great question was kind of just about fielding community concerns, and I believe Emily with Biddles was sending him a document that it's like a Q&A doc, like common questions or concerns
Yeah.
you may get and
Yeah.
answers for
Yeah.
the community. And I thought that was awesome that they have that resource.
Yeah, that is really good.
Need that.
Yep.
So is there like an ongoing then working group that
Yes.
includes library and, so who's part of that right now?
So myself,
Yeah.
I grant writer for one or two grant writers from CHC, Joanna and Brianna usually, and then Ellen, who's the chief nursing officer at CHC and oversees a lot of the substance use disorder related programming.
Okay, good.
Emily Levine, who's with Biddles, and then as of the most recent meeting, Luke Kirkland as well.
Okay.
So we have a meeting planned for tomorrow morning. I want to say it's at 10 a.m. I don't particularly expect that any of you would be free to join, but you are more than welcome.
Yeah,
This
you know
one
what?
or going forward.
I really am interested in,
Yes.
in sort of staying tuned into it. Tomorrow morning I can't. If
Okay.
either one of you can and want to, you're certainly welcome to. Otherwise, let us know when you have the date for the next one, and I'll make sure that one of us.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And I feel like at this stage, like this is really gaining momentum now. It feels like the
Yeah.
time to pull you into it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it does, it does.
Okay, great. I will let you guys know the next date. Do you want me to just send through Samantha? and-
Yeah,
okay.
yep,
Send
yep.
through Sam. Perfect. And then posing the question, would they be able to bring out the van ahead of time so you guys can see it? Any other questions you'd like me to field with the crew tomorrow?
Just if, I know that the library is probably, doing their own things to make sure that they're reaching out to the community and that they are understood. So I just want to make it, well known that we're, as a board, very happy to participate in that too. And if there is going to be any kind of, community presentation, or if there's going to be something at the library or, whatever, I'd be happy to join in with that so that it's kind of a united front with Board of Health. I think this is really important for us as a
I'd be
town.
interested too.
Yeah.
Just
Great.
tomorrow, I would come.
Yeah.
No, I know it's super short notice.
Yes, that's okay. We've got time before July 1st.
Yeah,
We do. We've got,
Yeah.
That's the good news.
Yeah, fortunately,
right?
yeah.
Yes. Okay, perfect. So I feel like I had something else. So if any other questions come up, and just pop me an email or whatever,
Okay.
and I can pose that to the group. I had something else, and I can't remember what
You
it
remember
was.
it?
It happens.
It does. So I've been having some very preliminary hypothetical conversations with the town social worker.
Yep.
To get her jazzed,
Yep.
let her know about it, right?
Yep.
Also, Stone Soup Kitchen has kind of known about it all along. She's
Yes,
a little out of
yeah.
the loop right now, but I'll pull her back in.
Yeah,
And then just thinking in terms of like outreach and community populations that we want to reach, the new mental health court clinician at Ayer District Court,
Yeah.
Margaret, she's amazing. I had a chance to meet with her, and I let her know about it. I know Luke has a great working relationship with the judge over there as well, so I can just kind of see a lot of different community connections.
Exactly.
The beginnings of them, starting to form, so.
Yeah. That's really great. It does seem like there's a lot coming together right now
It does.
after
know.
that long lull of, we
Yes.
were really jazzed and then it would
Yeah.
get lulled, but
It's very disappointing.
that's good.
This is
It's
good.
picking up steam again. That's great.
It is, and I cannot think of a better organization to be doing it for us, right? This is the ideal
That's
situation, is to bring in a group that's already embedded in your community in
Yeah,
some way.
yeah,
JRI would have been
exactly.
coming from they were great, they would have been coming
Yeah.
from Framingham.
Yeah.
It's a little out where people that CHC already serves and would like to reach are here.
What are some of their other towns that are kind of similar, maybe size or?
Pepperell, Townsend, I think they have Groton.
Okay.
I don't think they have Berlin, but I feel like they have kind of that swath that
Okay,
goes down
yeah.
around Fitchburg
Yeah.
and Leominster. They have sites in Leominster, Fitchburg, and Gardner as well. So,
Okay.
from my perspective, regionally, that's great for like my Ashburnham folks, right?
Right,
So,
exactly,
And just the I might be biased. I used to work for them as a clinician. My clinical role before
okay,
this
okay.
was at their Gardner Mental Health Center. I, as a clinician, loved working in the model of everything under one roof, like your primary
That's great.
care, your
Yeah.
optometry, your dentist, your substance use disorder,
Yeah.
your psychiatrist, your counselor, all under one roof, able to talk to each other, using the same medical record system. Things just
Yeah.
don't fall through the cracks as much with that sort of integrated system. So I just,
Yeah.
and they have that direct pipeline of referral to their own treatment and services for
Right.
folks as well.
Right.
So,
And I have a feeling that patient population, it probably has a lot of trouble getting different care from, different people coordinated and getting access to different kinds of care. So,
right.
yeah, I really like that, particularly for this group. I think it's fabulous.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
those are my updates.
Great. Thank you so much. It's
Thank
great
you,
to have you
guys.
working behind the scenes there.
I haven't given up.
Helps us, yeah. Neither have we.
I know. I appreciate you guys so much for hanging in.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good night.
Have a good night, guys.
Yeah, feel free to just send us an email. Let us know if there's anything new, if you want to just send us an update. But definitely let us know when the working group meetings are, and we'll get some
Sure.
participation there.
So this is official green light for Luke to go ahead and get started on his end.
I think so. Do we need to vote on that? Should we vote on that?
I didn't really know, but I wanted to make sure formally I ran it through the board before I did anything. So
Not really, it's not a regulation, it's.
right,
it's
you did the
not.
letter,
It's
so
not.
the letter
It's not.
part. was
Right,
the
we've already
recommendation
taken the
piece,
official
and-
action
right.
on it. We're just kind of picking it up again.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
no, I think you're good to go. But if anybody says you need anything, just let us know, and we'll
Yeah.
get it on the agenda, and we'll take care of it.
Great, you got it. Well, thank you guys.
Awesome.
Have a good
Thank
one.
you so much. All right.
Well, they don't-
That's great.
I'm trying to think, when was the first conversation? Probably
I
when it was
know.
At least.
a year. Oh,
Yeah.
more than that, yeah.
Before I started.
That was a big false start, though.
Yeah.
With the that was such disappointing news about that we can't get out there.
Yeah.
You're kidding me.
Putting the cart before the horse, literally.
But I was thinking about that with the opioid settlement funds because it just seems almost karma to me that that's exactly where it should be going back
Yeah.
into. But I don't know how we. Do you know anything about how the?
I don't think the funds
Town
run through the Board of Health. I don't think they run through.
No, I don't think they do either.
I think
But
So how do
there's
you,
restrictions on what you use them for.
how do boards and, how do people in the town have access to it? Do you have to write a grant? Do you have to go through?
I'll ask Carly or somebody. I'll find out
Okay.
for the next meeting. I'll look into it and find out what the what the deal is. So.
Runs through the select board. I don't know if directly
So you would put
or-
like a formal request from the Board of Health and tell them what our, we have a working,
Yeah,
semi-working.
I mean, I'm just
plan.
kind of curious to even know what funds were made available to the town and what are we thinking of doing with them and sort of what are the guidelines and limits.
Have the funds actually been received?
I don't know. I just started seeing this in the paper within the last couple of weeks that like funds are being released and they're being allocated, and so I think we're getting closer at least to distributing. But yeah, is it in the account yet? I don't know. Okay. Moving on to animal and fowl permit violations. Did we send out letters to? We have the two properties.
We have the two properties. We've sent multiple letters.
Yep.
I know last time we talked, it was sort of figure out with the police department and Julie of who does the fines, and then I haven't heard anything since.
Okay.
So I'm not sure.
Julie, I think, yeah, I know, we had kind of a hectic last couple of weeks. I think on 32 Washington, Bridget wanted to make one more effort to just verify that there really are chickens. Do you know if Julie has?
I haven't heard from Julie.
Okay.
So-
I'll call Julie about both of these and see what we need to do about getting that going again, so. So It's the reunion, right?
Yes.
And 32 Washington. Okay.
And yeah, so, and 3 Union is still, contacted them, called them, emailed them.
Yeah.
Sent them a letter saying, thank you for what you have submitted, please
Oh, that's
submit the
right.
rest.
Yeah, they're the incomplete, yep. And Washington Street, we actually sent notice with Constable, right? Okay. But we haven't done that with Union because they returned their...
Yeah, they returned their
Did
stuff.
we talk about, well, what's the time frame on that? If no response, then when do fines?
Yeah, I think...
Well, like you said, if Julie can give us the answer about,
If she can, yeah, just absolutely confirm, we definitely still have chickens in both of those places, then I would say at our, I think we've already voted to do the fine on that. I can-
it said fine, our old business fines will be issued soon.
Okay, all right.
That was in the minutes that we left it kind of open-ended.
Is there a language barrier here or anything?
On Union Street?
I think so. It's just a communications breakdown. Okay, I'll check in with Julie. I know that she's had other things on.
I think that might be Steve Lambert's old house. Remember Steve Lambert?
No. Is it the one, I get them mixed up.
There's only 3 houses in it. It was Capicello on the end.
Yes. I remember the Capistrano.
And then Lambert and
On Union Street.
I get Union Street mixed up with
Mechanic.
Mechanics.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, that part of town is confusing. Okay, I will pick up the ball again on that one and make sure that we do what needs to be done. Hotel motel regulations, there's really nothing that we need to talk about. We have a public hearing scheduled for March 11th, right? It's in the paper.
In the paper.
And
All ready to go.
we've done what needs to be done there. Okay. So you have, everybody's got the draft, so I think it's still not too late to, if there's anything in here that,
I thought it was lowered.
yeah, I think so too. And it's been tested through, other towns, so.
And Bridget did send it to town council, so
Yeah.
you're back to make
Yeah.
sure we're not doing something we're not supposed to do.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to put it on here so that we can just kind of check in with it and you guys know that the 11th, next meeting, we're going to do that.
We notify interested parties that this is happening. We talked about that.
Oh,
Yeah, we posted it in the paper.
And I posted it
Right.
outside the building, but we can send it to them.
I mean, it doesn't hurt to say,
Yeah.
say you didn't know about it.
Yeah, that's true,
There's
yeah.
only 2 parties that would be interested.
Right,
I know
right.
this.
And one of them doesn't need a current
Yeah, but you,
license, right, but they may, so, yeah, let's do that. Let's
I can
just
do that tomorrow even.
Just let them know that it's happening. It's not a command performance, but if they would like to attend, they certainly can.
yeah, I'll just send them a notice if we do further things.
Okay, yeah, it sounds good. So, that's that then. The annual report, talk about a last minute job. So I emailed this, and actually Sam did it. She took last year's and kind of repackaged. I really didn't do very much to it at all, except to, I think, really just kind of change the order. I wasn't sure about the wording of this one, Steve, but I noticed it's exactly the same. Oh, no, not that one. Yeah, that's exactly the same as what we had in last year, so I think it's okay then.
which, well, let's,
The issuance of motel license to Mimi's Place is still
Okay.
being processed through litigation. I just thought the wording kind of struck me as odd, but then I looked in the previous one and it was the same, so
Okay.
I think that's okay. Okay. On the permits issued, though, didn't we in 2023 issue a hotel motel?
Yeah, we've never really accounted those
We've never accounted for
when
those.
we can.
Yeah, let's do it. Can you just
Those
add-
are yearly, aren't they?
Yeah.
So I can add those.
Yeah, if you can just add that one in, so it's going to be a hotel/motel one.
One. Yeah.
Yep, okay. So it's not radically different from last year. It has more focus on the rat issue, and I kind of moved up the harm reduction because that's kind of really what's going on right now. But if you guys are okay with this, then I will. Can you take the file? I emailed it to you kind of late in the day, so you,
I did see it.
okay. Yeah, if you could just add in the add in the hotel motel one and
I will send it to Robert first thing in the
send it
morning.
up. And you forward the Neshoba one to him too, right? Okay, so we don't have to do anything with that.
Yeah, that one is-
Okay, perfect.
That one's all set.
Oh, great. That's a load off my mind. Never lived down the year. I completely forgot it. It's embarrassing.
I made a checklist.
Okay, so review of regulations. We have been a little preoccupied in the last couple of weeks, but I didn't want this to drop off the list completely, so it's just on there as kind of a placeholder. It's still going on. Bridget and I have kind of split up a few things for her to check and a few things for me to check, but I think that the most important one to get through is the new one for hotel motels, and then we can pick up again with, you were here, right, when we got rid of, I think you were here for that meeting, right? The one about those outdoor
The burning, yeah.
things, yeah, so that one's gone. And then Bridget thought that the private wells one needed some updating by the state, so she was going to do that one.
Backing up to this for a second.
Yes.
Did we get any formal notification from Stewart? Because they sent the state a notification that their intent is to vacate Massachusetts. But I thought that the Board of Health has to be notified.
You would think.
Well, I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
that the Board of Health is the agency that's notified.
Really?
In the community, yeah.
I thought it was the state, but that's
The state-
pretty
the state
interesting. I'll
gets
check
notified.
that.
Would it be the Neshoba Boards of Health because of all of the communities that it serves?
I don't know specifically, but I know when the conversation came up about
Yeah.
Stewart leaving or closing, that I think I was talking to Robert, don't quote me, the notification comes through the Board of Health.
I will check that, because I have to check with them anyway. I have to check with Carly anyway.
Because I was
On the
reading a week ago
funds,
Friday
so-
that they notified the state of their intent to leave.
Yep.
We haven't received anything yet.
Yeah, I would imagine. Well, they didn't even send the financial statements they were supposed to the state.
It said they
so-
sent pages of documents, but
Yeah,
not
right.
what the state was requesting.
Oh my God, I don't know. Maybe they got lost on one of the yachts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have either of you heard, or any of you heard anything about, like, specifically our hospital? Like, do we think it's going to be sold? Do we think it's going to close?
I've just, I've
Still
read
up in the air.
in the public papers that says that, they will not leave without having something else in place. To me, it's just
Yeah, right.
marketing BS right now.
Exactly, yeah. Okay. All right, I will check on that one, and I'll have something for the next meeting to let you know about that. Neshoba. Anything else on regulations? Okay, pretty good. No? Nobody dying to write a new regulation? Neshoba, did Bridget give us a good news?
Bridget's been.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I didn't know if she had any other stuff, but I did.
Okay.
We're pretty tuned in with what's going on with her. I did talk to her. Call log. We didn't even rate a call log this week, so.
I was like, sat
Nobody
down ready
talks
to
to
do
us.
it.
Oh,
I
God.
sat down ready to do it, and I tallied, I'll tally calls just in general. I received 15 calls in 2 weeks. Every single one was, you need to call Neshoba. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Oh,
right,
okay.
right.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
It was just,
I get it.
and I've been getting a lot of calls from one person. I think I've sent him off to someone else. At this point, I think he's just confused and he knows our numbers. So he just
Okay, gotcha.
Is that me?
someone who lives at one of the senior facilities. And I think he's just
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Soon.
All right, gotcha. Okay, so approval of minutes.
Yeah, I looked at them.
I did too, and I thought,
Good to me.
good to me. Anyone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept the meeting, the Board of Health meeting minutes from February 12th. Oh, I do see it, typo,
You do?
2023,
Oh, you're absolutely right.
which I've been doing.
This is the first year I haven't.
2023. But I just said to Pam, I'm doing it too.
we can fix
Making a motion to accept the Board of Health minutes from February 12th, 2024 amended with the date amended.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor? Aye. So I can just,
You
I
can
wrote
sign
on
it.
mine. Can I sign, oh, do you want to keep yours or can I
You can
sign that
sign
one?
the back page?
Yeah.
You got the front page? Because I wrote on this.
Oh, I did too. I only need the back page. Perfect. I printed mine two-sided.
Okay.
It's okay. I have them.
Okay, there you go. There's that.
Take care of
All right, administrative matters. Have we any bills?
We have no bills.
Have we any mail?
We have no mail.
All right then,
All things
I'm going to take
considered,
up
we've
this
been
time.
quiet.
I just have two things that I wanted to just let the board know about. One is I was not sure if you all got this or not. I'm not sure if this just went to the chairs or not, but this was actually sent out by, it was through Robert, but it was Attorney General's office. It's public meeting guidance, some guidelines about basically being respectful in public meetings and who can speak and can you refuse to recognize someone. So it's things like person may not speak unless recognized by the chair. However, the chair may not refuse to recognize a person based on the anticipated content or tone of the comment. So the whole thing is kind of geared to that. And they're saying if you have any, violations of this sort of thing, they're encouraging you to report them. So, did you guys get this? Or okay, I can forward it to you. I got it. And then one other thing, and I really apologize that this was is so last minute, but there was another feasibility study update report on Shepley's Hill.
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, did you see the emails going back and forth on that? So what it was all about is the Army is proposing to do a couple of things. One is to reclassify that area under the aquifer from, it is right now classified as potential drinking water. They want to make it non-potential drinking water. And that has already been objected to by this Diane Baxter from Mass DEP to BRAC. So PACE is kind of reiterating that, no, we don't think this is a good idea. There's another point that they are trying to exempt that area from meeting those groundwater standards. They're mentioning a cleanup level of arsenic that's considerably higher than what the target was. Once again, this was already objected to by someone at DEP, and they even point out on that one that the same argument was made back in 2011, and DEP said no. So it's,
There was a meeting today, I believe.
Is it today?
Today, yeah.
So it's all about reclassification of things they
Yeah,
already found?
Yep, it's these continuing reports that will go on for some time until Shepley's Hill is like completely closed out. So they have to give updates on the status of everything, and then this had to do with the feasibility of achieving the final remediation, the final goal. So I just got this. This is dated today. This just came over from Lori Neary. I was watching the emails back and forth, and I know this is a big ask because you have not had an opportunity to read this, but the comments have to be in by, I believe it's today, the 29th. So what I would like to do is just send a letter of support that the Ayer Board of Health supports the concerns raised by PACE.
Absolutely.
They're all perfectly valid, in my opinion, concerns. They're all questioning things like, but why? What's the rationale for saying now that it's not a potential aquifer? Says who? Says why? They want to know what would be they want further consideration regarding if we're going to have higher residual levels. They want further consideration of the long-term impacts in air. They're objecting to using, they're objecting to using higher levels, to this justification for why they can accept higher levels when their plan going into this and their updates all along have been, no, that we're still on track to hit these, these original target levels. Are
they changing the numbers that are acceptable? Are they playing with those numbers that are acceptable? Or they?
That's what I gather this would do. So if they're allowed to reclassify that groundwater, then that gives them some leeway to, if it's potential drinking water, then the Mass CMR has limits on, what contaminants can be in it, and they can play with those limits if it's not a potential drinking aquifer.
I guess my only thought of this whole thing is that I would depend on Mass DEP, and I appreciate PACE monitoring that, but the experts are still Mass DEP. If PACE is consistent with DEP, I would agree with it. If PACE is asking for something outside of DEP, I would question what the authority is and the background of these people to make such comment.
I think they
PACE
has so far, right?
They are very consistent.
As long as it's not
DEP. A little bit more of the background, I do need to get back more involved in this, is that PACE has had for a number of years a consultant working for them on a grant, who is an expert in this area, and he's done the reports that come out of this, anything out of the Devon's remediation, they're enormously thick report, and they're very, very dense. So to be perfectly honest, there's two sort of sets of questions and comments. One is general, which makes, their higher level, like, well, you're going to classify this whole area differently. Then there's the second piece of it, is selecting a remedial alternative. So if they can't get to, for whatever reason, the levels that they were targeting, then they have to look at what would be the alternatives to that. This is where I'm feeling less comfortable that, I have the kind of technical background to say that these are good or bad alternatives. But the tone of these are, like, I'll just read you the very first one. Explain how community acceptance will be determined, particularly community of Ayer, who is most impacted by this contamination problem. So there are still some fairly high-level questions in here. I can't pass judgment on the technical, soundness of these recommendations.
Was there ever besides a goal with numbers, was there ever a time frame set up between the Army and the town as far as like, well, this is what needs to be done, this is how long we expect it to take? Because I'm trying to think how long
If I remember correctly, it's like this ongoing program of they have to give these update monitoring reports.
Right.
And I don't know that there was like a specific, it has to be down to this level by this date. I think the next actions are kind of based on these like periodic reports of this is where we are. This is how things are changing because the groundwater plume, that's even mentioned in here, that it started going in a different direction.
I asked that because I remember when we were talking about the other affected sites in the country that had started treatment before us.
Yeah,
I was wondering what their projected time frame was, like, say out in Oregon or whatever.
Exactly.
They found that, and we were able to put a cap on that and get that done by a certain time.
That's a really good question. I'll check into that, and I could talk to...
It just seems like it's been going...
It has been going on forever, and I think that the whole arsenic treatment thing just didn't work out as well as they thought it was going to. So I think that's why maybe there is a promised end point and end date, and this is one of the sort of updates and the looks like we're not going to make it there. So if you guys are okay with it, I would just like to send them in something saying that, we agreed that these are questions that should be addressed.
Yeah, I think, and I feel like originally we had gone to those, the ones on Devon's. And it was
We
like,
did.
I have no background, so I was looking at it like,
Oh my God, it's beyond me.
Well, that's why I said if this is consistent with DEP, I'm okay with that because none of us are experts.
Yeah.
no matter how much they tried to put it in lay terms with the slideshow, I was like,
Yeah, this is where it starts to get very, very technical about, there are these different alternatives for different ways to treat with 3 wells, with this extraction and
now this is the
air sparging.
This is just Shepley's?
Yeah, yeah. That's what this particular thing addressed. So if you're okay with that, then I'll just
I think
send that out.
Yeah, we need to have some kind of continuity with them. I feel like we've kind of fallen off.
Yeah, and I don't want to, arsenic and it's our groundwater supply. It is potential. I mean, in a small town like Ayer, everything's potential drinking water. Okay, that's all I have. Items for upcoming meeting, the 11th. Are you on our schedule again now, or are you off?
I'm supposed to be working in Vermont on the 11th.
On the 11th? Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If it changes, I'll be there one way or the other. If I can't be in person,
Okay.
I'll do Zoom.
Can you do Zoom? Okay. All right, that's fine. Yeah. As long as that's it's now an accepted option.
It's the last weekend.
Yeah, it's kind of...
If there's still snow left.
Well, yeah, that's a good point, too. Okay, so, I think that will probably take up some discussion, and then I'll check with this business on animal and fowl permits and a couple things with Carly and update you on that. And if you think of anything, let us know.
Motion to adjourn.
Sounds good.
So moved.
Mr. Speedy.
Do I hear a second?
Yes.
Motion has been made and seconded. We are adjourned.